Hi, and welcome to Your Truth Explored, the podcast where we unpack your truths to bring clarity, understanding, and insight into what lies ahead. My name is Rodney Reynders. Today we chat with Tanē Hunter. Tanē has over 15 years of experience at the crossroad of science, technology, and storytelling, and leads FutureCrunch, a think tank on a mission to foster intelligent optimism and equip people to thrive in a world defined by rapid change. As a bioinformatician, cancer researcher, and science communicator who worked with big data in the biological realm, from genomics to AI-driven health insights, he brings an insightful challenge to each of us, and that is to consider the message we consume and how it then manifests in our everyday. As co-founder of Lighthouse Data Science, he helps bridge the gap between academia and industry, translating complex data into meaningful insights that drive innovation. From AI to clean energy to robotics, biotechnology, and evolutionary biology, his work is driven by one question: how can we use knowledge and technology to make life on this planet better for everyone? Tanē describes this in great detail in his book, Full Stack Human. So strap in, sit back, and let's explore our collective truth together with Tanē Hunter. Welcome, Tanē.
Kia ora. Thanks for having me, Rodney.
It's a pleasure to have you. And we just had a chat before about the meaning of your name and having a bit of legacy behind you, which is fitting when we consider the subject matter of humanity in the new digital age or computer platform age, which is what the fundamentals of the book you penned. So why don't you tell us your points of views, starting there, and we'll see where the journey takes us.
Oh, well, perhaps I should start from the beginning.
Let's do.
I do have a Kiwi name, means God of the Forest in Maori, from Tanē Hunter, named after a 2,500-year-old kauri tree. But my mother's Tasmanian, and I was born in New Mexico. But one of the main points of the book is about adaptability and resilience. And this idea that the starting condition is not the prognosis. We had a good chat before, Rodney, about overcoming the hurdles that life can throw you. But I was born in 1984, barely scraped by in 84, born on Boxing Day, with respiratory distress syndrome. So I was born blue. My parents weren't allowed to hold me for 2 weeks. My first home was a respirator. And the doctor said I wouldn't make it to 20 years old. So basically, I was considered arrested development, failed to start, failed to thrive.
Yeah, right.
And the doctor who saved me had arrived from El Salvador, from revolution-torn country. And none of the doctors on the ward trusted him because he used to carry a firearm around in El Salvador.
It's like credence, did he?
Yeah, exactly. But I was saved by a technology that existed because a Kennedy child, JFK's child, didn't make it in 1963. And so it shows what technology can do and healthcare can do if you point the right fingers at it.
Yeah.
And they created a cure for pulmonary, or not a cure, but a way to help babies survive from pulmonary distress syndrome. Yeah. So yes, I was born basically failed to launch, and the experts have made all the mistakes. Resilience isn't about how about this? Resilience isn't about bouncing back to status quo. It's bouncing back better.
Yes, I like that.
Yeah.
So failure to launch. So you've mentioned that term a few times. What does it mean to you?
Failure to launch has happened many times in my 41 and a bit years on this planet Earth. What it means to me is the condition, the starting condition is not the prognosis. Basically, what you're feeling at the moment is not your final outcome.
Yeah.
And a lot of people let distress, trials and tribulations own them, but they don't need to own you. It's not, if you still wake up the next day, you got another fighting chance.
Yeah, that's right. So an anchor post of sorts, the statement?
I think so, yeah, guiding light.
Yeah.
Yeah, your current condition is not your final prognosis. For example, I celebrate today. I woke up at 4:45 a.m., my friend dragged my ass out of bed to watch the World Cup.
Yes.
And it was great to see the world getting together, the world community connection. I call it vitamin C.
Yeah.
People from around the world coming together, albeit a competition. But I actually missed the winning goal from Spain, Ferran Torres, I think in the 106th minute,
Yeah.
because I was outside taking photographs of the beautiful sunrise this morning. But it was good. Not to offend any of your listeners, but I'm not a big fan of football. Not a diehard fan.
Yeah.
But I love the world coming together to watch people doing their thing at their prime.
Yeah. It is intriguing to me also. I also am one of those fellas that sport's just not the thing that floats my boat. But the connection that drives it, or the passion that sits behind it, or the community that's entangled in it is very intriguing to me.
Football is life.
Is it?
I mean, for some people, yes.
I'm very busy right now, though.
Yeah, I'm too busy for football. But you still must believe, as Ted
Okay.
Lasso once said.
Okay.
But I do have quite a fondness for elite athletics. Talking about hurdles having to cross, I was a professional mountain biker for a while. At 19, I won semi-professional national championships
Oh, wow.
in Colorado, but I ended up fracturing 3 vertebrae.
Problematic.
And it started with stabbing pain in the bottom of my feet. And so I was misdiagnosed. I saw a lot of fluorescent light bulbs in hospital bedrooms getting diagnosed. Feet were strapped, got orthotics and stuff. I tried to push through the pain. But yeah, that was the end of my professional athletic career. Yeah, so when one door closes, many more open. So I refocused on academics. Did my degree in environmental sciences, ecology, and biochemistry.
Yeah.
And yeah, got into a music career. And I had a sliding door moment. I could either go to my emo indie hippie band to Portland to
Yes.
pursue the music career,
Yeah.
or to go sailing with my parents across the ocean, across the Pacific towards New Zealand. And I chose the latter, and that has made all the difference.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So do you think there's value in being aware of those sliding door moments? And is it sitting in the gratitude?
I think you're nailing it with sitting in the gratitude, being grateful. I call them moments of glimmer. Those glimmering moments, I think it was Kurt Vonnegut, one of my favorite authors, that came up with glimmer, but just being grateful for those magical moments. For example, if you're going to the post office, right, you pet a dog on the way there. The other day, I was listening to some stand-up bass, some groovy tunes from a friend that's sent them to me, and I was looking at 2 kookaburras in the tree, and this family was walking by, and this 8 or 9-year-old boy came up and said, "What are you doing?" And I put this phone on speaker, and I was like, listening to some beautiful stand-up bass. How good are these beats? Check out the kookaburras. And almost on cue, the kookaburras cackled. They laughed, and those moments are beautiful. Taking a moment to be grateful is a superpower,
Yeah, that's right.
because life depends on your perspective. And I mean, a lot of things are going wrong in the world. A lot of things are going well. And how can you make life better? And I think gratitude is a powerful way to make that happen.
So your book, Full Stack Human, I quite enjoyed the title, and as we were discussing earlier, I haven't actually managed to get my hands on it, but from the title itself, I can deduce the value of awareness that must sit within the pages. And so maybe you can guide us a bit through that journey. But it seems to me at face level, we have technology that some, and we were discussing in our earlier chat, in counseling, I have a number of clients that technology is a scary idea. The whole idea of what AI means, what does it mean for the future? What does it mean for me right now? What does it mean for my career? Lots of question marks and unknowns. But I wonder if we bring that gratitude to that platform, will it inherently change the way we look at it? Anyway, what's your thoughts?
Oh, wow. That's an existential question. I think if we add more gratitude to the platform, I mean, keep in mind that AI is looking at the whole knowledge base of human history, or our recorded history. And large language models do basically a comprehensive search across all of the likelihoods of what's going on in the human zeitgeist and human history. And so I think adding gratitude to that will be incredibly powerful, because it's only as good as what you feed it. What comes in comes out, right? It's based on our data. So adding gratitude to that, I think, would be a good booster for humanity plus, humanity 2.0, or I don't know, probably 53.0 or what.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
we do have a few versions on.
So I like to think of AI as a mirror, right? And it reflects back on how we behave, how we show up. And if we show gratitude, and if we get it right, it can show us the best sides of human nature.
Yeah.
But if we get it wrong and we have negativity, divisiveness, hate, and that kind of thing, which there's plenty of it in the world, especially on the online community, it will show us more of that. So it's a reflection of humanity. So hashtag more gratitude to AI, for sure.
Yeah, that's right. I reflect on a client again, and they were explaining their anxiety. They were coming to me to deal with their anxiety, and they reflect on it as sweaty palms and their heart pounds and their knots in their tummy and their breathing. And then later on, not much later on, but later on in the session, they were defining their excitement in extreme sport was their thing. And when I asked them for the physicality of excitement, they said, "Oh, my hands get sweaty and my heart pounds and my knot in my tummy and my breathing goes." And I said, "Well, this is exactly the same 4 words you use for stress." So I said, "Well, for the homework this week, maybe I take away from you the stress label and only leave you with the excited label. And all those things where you would have stuck the stress label, you now have to stick the excited label." And that awareness piece changed their whole world. And I wonder if that's not the same when we think of where we are with technology today. If we took away the "this is scary" and stuck the "this could be helpful" sticker on it, the physicality doesn't change. My psychologist just fetches the supporting document.
That's a really good point. It depends on your perspective. It's fight, flight, or freeze, or move on to the future, I guess.
Yeah.
In the sense that I've done quite a bit of therapy over the years, and one of the best things that I had panic attacks about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
COVID had nothing to do with it. Because I'm a keynote speaker, I think you grace the stage occasionally.
Yes.
But our work became illegal overnight.
Yeah, that's right. Because
And so I started having panic attacks, and my therapist was just like, "You got a 5K radius, just run." Because the stress chemicals that are being poured into your body are the same that you get whether you're anxious or you're struggling to fight or you're aiming to win a race or a World Cup soccer match. They're the same. Not exactly the same, but they have overlap, right?
Yeah, that's right. Significant overlap as well.
Yeah, significant overlap. So she just said, "Go and fucking sprint."
Awesome.
And
I like that.
I've got a Wahoo trainer, a stationary bike, and so because of my broken 3 vertebrae, running is not my forte.
Yes.
So I just sprinted it out. I sprinted out on the bike, and it was like, wow, totally calmed the symptoms. And I know that will not work for everyone, but it's just like, get out and moving, like use that energy towards something.
So when you reflect on the pages of the book, how do we move the energy of our fear of technology and redeploy it into a platform of gratitude that leads this technology to an aid rather than a problem?
Well, I think fundamentally we don't really have a technology problem. We have a human problem. Technology is to humans as dams are to beavers, as nests are to birds. I mean, we're just naked apes that got lost somewhere between the river and the forest, ended up inventing vaccines, the wheel, nuclear weapons, fire, and AI. It's not good, nor is it bad, nor is it neutral. We have to set our intentions right. And that's how we show up in the use of the technology. So I think it's more of a human problem than the platform problem. And I think the tension that we're feeling right now is really summed up by one of my favorite biologists, happens to be an evolutionary biologist, E.O. Wilson. And he says, we have Paleolithic emotions, medieval institutions, and godlike technology. And therein lies the tension. Because, we're not evolutionarily equipped to the exponential nature of this stuff. And we have emotions that are, I don't want to say primitive brains, but on an evolutionary scale, we haven't had a neurological update in tens of thousands of years, a massive leap to keep up. So we have cognitive biases and evolutionary hangovers that leave us ill equipped to deal with the torrent of the 24/7 negative news juggernaut
Yeah.
and the speed of change. And so that's the paradox. And I think, in particular, the more AI we add to the workforce, to the education system, the more human our people, our teachers, and we all need to be.
Yeah.
AI is a mirror, so get the reflection right, and it can show us the best sides of humanity. But we tend to tune into the dark sides, and we somehow are like moths to a flame with the dark side.
That's interesting that you say that, because even in the context of my story and many other stories, the temptation is to focus on the negative. And I use a similar term that you use there. It's not good information, it's not bad information, it's just information. And then you can choose what you want to do with that information. But as a rule, certainly the clients that come across my platform seem to go, well, I'm going to choose. I don't. If nobody points it out, I'm going to go with the negative until somebody points out that I've got an option, like for instance, stress versus excitement. So,
Yes.
what's the golden nugget that gets the average person that's listening today to go, let me consider, am I prone for the pro or for the negative?
Oh, I mean, biologically, you're primed for the negative. We have evolutionary hangovers. I mean, we open the book with our navigating the maze of your mind. It's basically navigating our cognitive biases. And we're attracted to negativity, fear, and the media sensationalizes stories to get clicks, views, and our attention. So I think one of the most powerful things that people need to remember is what I call the information diet. The same way that we think about culinary diets, we try and improve the quality of our food for health, longevity, etc. Healthy greens, dietary fiber, all the vitamins, nutrients, minerals, etc. We don't think of information in the same way, right?
Yeah, that's true.
But information affects the way we view the world, and we can have a healthy, balanced outlook on the world, or we can have a highly junk, food-informed view of the world.
Yeah, I
And
like
so a
that.
lot of what the media, and again, it's a reflection. I'm not like talking negatively about the
Yeah,
media, but they reflect on what we politicians. It's always choose the lane, choose an aisle, populist,
yeah,
dictator, authoritarian, and our narratives also have conflict. But that creates divisiveness, hopelessness, apathy, and sometimes even hate.
yeah,
And those don't create solutions. By contrast, if we can show solution-based narratives, storytelling that shows fact-based reasons that a better future can be built and we can create a better world, that creates action, agency, and pathways forward to hopefully making a better place for everyone.
yeah,
So again, it's what are you ingesting information-wise? What are you feeding yourself with narrative and story? Because hope is a verb. It's not a noun or a hashtag.
yeah.
You actually have agency in this. So it's like
Doing, yeah,
adopting and fostering a courageous, intelligent optimism about the world.
yeah,
Look, if I'm at the end of the world, the flames are licking at the walls, the waves are lapping at the doorstep. We've totally screwed things up. Climate change is real. We're doomed.
yeah,
I want to have the end of the world party with people I want to be dancing with people who are like, oh, wow, I give it everything that I had to make this world a better place.
yeah,
Till the end, I don't want to be sitting with the cynics in the corner who told you that the world could not change and it was all going to end up like this in the
yeah,
end. I don't want to spend my final moments with people like that. So
yeah,
intelligent optimism is not positive thinking. It's not slapping a smiley face on a dumpster fire. It's
yeah.
about viewing pathways through this immense amount of knowledge and data and information that we have and getting the agency to go out there and do something.
It actually makes me think of, and we spoke about Anita Hayes, the actress on one of the Your
She
Truth
was
Explored,
great.
and she reflects on this, listening to music, listening to media reports to assimilate a character. She takes in all this information to help her assimilate. So we know intellectually that it works, that we can consume something and it will produce a result within us. But if you asked an average man on the street, can he produce a positive result through his consumption? I would venture a guess that many haven't even given that an idea, a thought.
Yeah, it's about shifting your perspective on something that's already there. Ask different questions, come at it from a different angle.
Yeah,
Because you can embody, like character actors, what do they call them? Method actors, right? You can embody something like that by ingesting information and knowledge that suits what you want. So what do
yeah,
you want? Do you want everything going wrong in the world and concentrate on that? Or do you want to focus and be a character actor for everything that is going right?
yeah.
Go fully solution-based optimist method acting. The real emergency isn't everything that's going wrong. It's humanity's inability to see what's going right.
Yeah, yeah, that is. Say that again. That's awesome. Say that again.
The real emergency with humanity isn't everything that's going wrong. It's our inability to see what's going right.
So, what is the stumbling block, or is it only because we're wired to the negative that we can't see that?
Oh, we have many stumbling blocks. I think we're just adjusting to the rapid pace of technological change. And our mental health system, geopolitical system, everything isn't made to be anti-fragile to the current. Human beings think in a linear way. We tend to take things that are happening around us and predict them in a linear fashion, but the world changes exponentially. And so we have a perception gap, which means in the short term we tend to overestimate things, technological change, geopolitics, whatever, fear mongering. And in
Yeah,
the long term we tend to greatly underestimate it. So there's kind of like these sleeper units, hidden trends that were you have to dig hard and really really think about. How about this? Part of the problem is that our attention spans are waning, so it's long reads, serious thinking, meditation, being incredibly grateful about the glimmers in life. That's the hard work. Resilience and anti-fragility isn't glamorous. It's hard work. It's repetitive. It takes work. It's like going to the gym. Got to work out my solution mindset.
yeah.
And I think we've gotten a bit on the I'll go to the gym next Monday. Diet starts next week.
That is one way of looking at it. And as what I like to say is consistency is key. So you don't have to change everything, but be consistent with even the smallest step.
And even the smaller steps are probably the most important.
Yeah.
And I love that consistency is pretty much your gold ticket. It's not what you know that counts, it's what you do consistently that matters.
I'm listening to this conversation. I'm feeling challenged to evaluate my input data, my input diet to my view on life. What's the practical application of the solution
Well, because you've read the book in detail, I'll take you through it.
then? Guilty as charged.
So, full stack human, basically your field guide for staying human in a world ruled by technology. But it's comes from computer programming. A full stack developer can do the back end, like database management, the coding,
Yeah.
zeros and ones. They can also do the front end, basically the apps that and websites that are slick and we've come to love and unfortunately get addicted to. But it's about understanding your information, the data, and applying that to how you show up as a human being. So it's kind of like a nerdy way to say how you show up as a fully stacked human being, a full stack human. And one of the first things we talk about is understanding the platform, just like we have technology, right? Understand that we're doing it on this, or we're on computers now doing it on Zoom. Understand the hardware. So our cognitive, it's basically based in neuroscience, how we're wired. The next step is basically embracing the human skills, what makes us authentically, genuinely, and often messily human, right? The experts have made all the mistakes. So failure is something that we all have to deal with, but we talk about everyone likes listicles, so let's go with 5. One of the opening chapters is called Serious Play. Don't fear change, play with it. And it's like having room to play, just enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Spirilium or spiel room to play.
Yeah.
So play is one of our fundamental learning technologies. It's not the opposite of work. A working day in Spielraum is a day where nothing is actually learned. It's about pioneering, being creative, exploring, having that radical curiosity. Adults often in the workplace and, with clients that I talk to in big organizations, play is like, it's a treat, it's an indulgence. It's seen as frivolous and nice to have, but it's actually a powerful driver of creativity and fuels imagination,
Yeah.
which is great for innovation and better ways of doing stuff, thinking outside of the box, thinking outside of the pathways that we're all doomed.
Yeah.
And then the second layer is strategic hope, taken from Dr. Andrew Snyder's two-part definition, which he breaks up. I mean, it's not just hope like naive hope. Hope is a verb, defining pathways and agency. So pathways are really your capacity to imagine your way through a difficult situation. Imagine pathways forward to a solution. And agency is the belief that you can actually do it. And that can be naive belief, like fake it till you make it, but agency is often earned through consistency and going through the hard stuff. So it's both a mindset and an earned state of mind.
Yeah.
And I think both halves are required. Pathway without agency is a fantasy, and agency without pathways is kind of like flailing in the wind, flapping sails. I'm a sailor, so I might use some nautical terms. Yeah, hope really is a verb, is an active, conscious thing, not a hashtag. Intelligent optimism is the third layer, and that's really dialectic thinking, holding multiple ideas in your head at once. Yes, things are hard. A lot of horrible stuff is going on in the world. And yes, some things are good. But also things can get better if you direct your sensors and your perspective in the right direction. It's kind of like, it's a bullshit-resistant lens. It's not blind positivity.
Yeah.
Cynicism is easy. You're never wrong or disappointed when things go bad. By contrast, intelligent optimism asks where people are doing something different, something novel, something new that is actually adding benefit not only to humanity, but to all our fellow roommates on planet Earth.
Yeah.
The animals, plants, and fungi, protozoa. Don't get me going down a biological, environmental nerd
Noted.
rant. The other is radical curiosity. And I think this is really important because we don't take imagination and curiosity as seriously as we should, because I think, well, I'm a hardcore science nerd, right?
Yeah.
But science is fundamentally about asking creative questions that have never been asked before, and finding answers that have never been discovered. But the same is true with, any artistic or creative practice, and same is true with innovation. I mean, with Jonas Salk, I interviewed him or a friend of his for the book, Dr. Stuart Brown. He's the world leading expert in play. And Jonas Salk was the original discoverer of the polio vaccine. And he said he didn't crack the code or the vaccine, the cure. It would go on to save millions of people with rigorous scientific testing and stuff like that. He did it with his imagination. He had to imagine, because our microscopes and technology wasn't good enough to see the picture of a virus. He had to imagine what the shape of the virus was like. Did it look like a snake, a banana, a fruit, a round fruit? And it turned out it looked much like the coronavirus, a round fruit. And once he used his imagination, and once he cracked that, once he could picture it in his mind, the rest came to fruition. So curiosity, imagination, it's not just a nice to have. It's not just creative thinking that we see on the silver screen and, on Instagram and stuff like that. It's your ability to drive innovation, and it's a powerful tool for change.
Yeah.
And then embodied adaptability. And number 5, the final fifth of the listicle is embodied adaptability. Adaptability that lives in the body. It's not the mindset of, an incredible icon on an motivational poster. It's about having strong opinions held lightly, your ability to understand your elasticity, your cognitive hangovers, moving your perspective along a spectrum, and that your current condition is not your prognosis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is it like, if I get my proverbial 5 ducks in a row, and I inherit the healthier lens, is it transferable by exposure. So what I mean by that is, can I pass on my passion to somebody who hasn't maybe walked the whole path, but can see the value and it's intrinsically earned?
So they're not five necessarily in order, they're interconnected. So it depends on where you start. But I think you bring up a good point. Come on, when you're hanging around with good people or negative people, you feel it. It rubs
Yeah,
off on
that's
you.
right. That's right. Yeah.
And especially with kids and stuff like that in the age of AI, you can tell them to don't do screen time and then you're there on your phone checking messages.
Yeah, yeah.
Be the example that you want people to be. I mean, first do it for yourself, obviously.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, it does ripple across. And do you want to be a vector for positivity, solution-based rhetoric, or do you want to be a vector for fear, divisiveness, and doom scrolling?
Yeah. And at the very least, you want to know which one you're prone to, so that you can know what you're putting out into the world. 'Cause I
Yeah,
think that
basically diagnose yourself.
I don't want to call it a problem, but that's the unfortunate state. Is that many people are just blissfully unaware what's their stance in life. Like, what do I really believe?
And so, I mean, belief is in the eye of the beholder, right?
That's
So,
right.
and it depends on what you ingest, what ideas you
Yeah.
take in, what method acting you're doing.
Yeah, that's right.
And
That's exactly it.
yeah. And I mean, I have this idea. I love a good portmanteau, which is a combination of two words like brunch, breakfast, and lunch.
Yeah.
Have this idea of, well, I think in the book we use thrival, as opposed don't just survive, thrive. But
Yeah.
come on, that's been done over and over. I feel embarrassed that we put thrival in the book. But I like this idea of perspectrum, your ability to shift your perspective along a spectrum. And whether that's a political spectrum, a cultural, ideological spectrum, your ability to see things from other people's perspective, where they're coming from, is a superpower, but also like to see it from quarks to galaxies, from
Yeah.
cells to human beings. I mean, we're composed of trillions of cells that are rapidly dividing. And our microbiome, I mean, we're basically, if you look at us, we're like planets in ourselves.
Yeah.
Where most of us is not even us. We're full of bacteria, viruses, protozoa, fungi, all kinds of critters that ultimately dictate our health.
Yeah.
And yeah, they have a huge effect on our digestion, our feel-good chemicals, or the more depressing and detrimental ones as well. So I mean, we contain multitudes, and I think it's important, not only as a human being living on planet Earth, to realize that there are people in your neighborhood, there are people around the world, having that perspective, but also, we're the result of a long lineage of life, and to
Yeah.
put that into perspective along a spectrum is really powerful.
Mm. And so, what is the hurdle in that scenario where well, I guess, am I aware of the spectrum, or um, my authority within that spectrum, or right to choose? Where's that message not, or how am I not getting that message that I have the authority and ownership within that choice?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I mean, first, let's get over the hurdle of privilege. Some people don't have privilege to the same information streams or the same value, and value as far as knowledge, access, etc. But it's about no matter what value and, I guess, stockpile that you have, you can either focus on, is it a pile of shit, or you can look at it as a pile of compost, and how can you use that to grow green shoots?
Yeah.
So, I mean, depending on your circumstances, your condition is not necessarily the prognosis.
Mm.
If you look at the backside of depending on which hemisphere you're on, the south side of the north side, the north face or the south face, is colder, it's darker, it's icier. So again, it's the same mountain. We don't all have the same base level, but you can redefine your perspective, your ability, I guess your resilience, your fortitude from that.
Yeah.
The grass is always greener on the other side, but remember both sides are fertilized with shit.
And so, is the magic the average person is looking for, is that magic sitting in something as simple as choice?
I mean, I think that's too reductive. Um, in a perfect streamlined world, yes, it would just be choice. But I think it's more about, again, it's about consistency, resilience, anti-fragility. It's about the hard work and continuing to focus on something that gives you hope, a light at the end of the tunnel, rather than the easy, oh, horror movie or sensationalist rhetoric or what the news is feeding you. Because, I mean, human beings, we are amazing. So many millions of us are out there doing the incredible things, making the world a better place. And that knowledge is at the fingertips of more human beings. We have the greatest resource humanity has ever known at our fingertips.
Yeah.
More than ever, it's how you use it that counts. So yes, it's about choice. But then again, it's about background, what you've been exposed to. So I don't want to leave it at just as choice.
So if you had to give a group of people a inspirational starting point, what's the nugget that you deliver to them? What's your keynote delivery, your takeaway for the moment?
One thing I like to say in this both talk about perspective from individual to humanity, from a human to an organizational level. The stories that we tell ourselves define who we are. And if we want to change the story of the human race in the 21st century, we have to change the stories we tell ourselves.
Mm.
So there's the agency, that's the choice.
Yeah.
Choose your narrative nosh, information that feeds you, that nourishes you, that gives you hope.
Yeah. If you're listening today, I want to encourage you that this agency of choice is something that sits purely with you, the listener. So your work, and in my language, your worst character trait that you've defined as the thing that disqualifies you as the perfect version of you. If you give yourself grace and choice in that thing, it may very well be the thing that's setting you up for success, uniqueness. It may be the very thing that pioneers you into a realm that you are striving for and might just not be aware of. But it only is activated when the choice of grace or gratitude or compassion is introduced into that thing that you call failure. And today, I hope maybe you'll consider it as a stepping stone. So, Tanē, if somebody's been listening and they think, "Oh, I want to get my hands on that book," or I want maybe what is the extent of your services, and where does somebody reach out to get those services?
You can follow me on LinkedIn at Future Crunch, on Instagram, Future Crunch, Facebook. You can sign up to our newsletter on Substack and Beehive, but you can get it all at futurecrunch.com. And if you want to buy the book and learn how to maintain a bit of humanity in a world ruled by technology and the AI overlords, fullstackhumanbook.com.
Full Stack Human. I'm going to aspire to full stack Rodney into the future. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, full stack Rodney. That's going to be my takeaway for the day. So thank you for that.
Full Stack Rodney 2027.
Yeah, man. I'm not a rocker kid, so I don't know that I can pull off the signage, but I can walk the walk.
Yeah.
I can sit in choice and certainly gratitude and walk the walk.
Yeah. First I was in a heavy metal band, then punk, then indie, then folk. And now I listen to stand-up bass and classical music, so who knows?
Choice. Sitting in choice.
Choice. Yes.
Tanē, it's been a great pleasure chatting to you, and I thank you for your time.
Cheers, Rodney. It was a pleasure.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of Your Truth Explored. If today's episode resonated with you, please take a moment to follow the podcast and share it with someone who might benefit from the conversation. Your support helps these messages reach the people who need them most. If you'd like to explore your own truths more deeply, you're welcome to connect with me at yourtruthservices.com.au about coaching or counseling bookings. Also available on that website is our other resources such as music, books, and videos. Until next time, take care and stay connected to your truth.